Hello, once again, welcome you all in this wonderful video lecture series of Python programming related to data science and machine learning. In this particular video, we are going to look about the strings in Python and how to deal with the strings in the Python. But before directly jumping into the string, first of all, let us have a look at what are the data types that we have in Python and their categories. So as you can see here, we have different types of data. For example, integers, which is indicated by int, and in general it is very simple: 3, 300, 200, 1, 2, 3, something of that kind. So this kind of things comes under integers. Floating points, the moment we add decimals to integers, it becomes float. After float, we have string, which is represented by str, and anything can be string. For example, hello within double quotes or single quotes. Any numbers, if it is written within the quotes, it becomes string. Any special characters written in between quotes, it becomes string. Then we have list. List is the order sequence of objects. For example, it may contain an integer, it may contain a string, it may contain a float. The list of all the things is called list. After we have dictionaries. Dictionaries are unordered, that have one key and one value, and they both are paired. For example, my key has some value and some name is related to Frankie. So whenever you will call my key, it will show its value. Whenever you will call name, it will show Frankie. So there is some relation between two things, two entities. So that is unordered relationship, and that comes under dictionaries. After dictionaries, we have tuples. Tuples are same as list, is just that they are immutable. That means we cannot change them. So if you want to change the list, if I want to delete this 10 and if I want to insert 20 instead of 10, I can do that, but we cannot do the same in the tuples. After tuples, we have sets. So sets are unordered collection of unique objects. For example, you can see here they are unordered collections. In the end, we have boolean. We have two basic values that are true and false, 0 and 1. So these are basic data types that we have, but today our main focus is going to be strings. So let us start with that. So before jumping into the strings, let us first of all look at some of the basic functions that Python contains that are very essential in order to function properly inside Python or do any kind of stuff in the Python. So for example, first function is the print function. So whenever you want to print anything, you will use this function, print function. Print function generally prints anything that you want in a manner that it will have new lines automatically. For example, if I want to print say my name, you will see my name is printed. If I again want to print my surname, we'll see the moment I print my surname here, it will print it in the new line. But if there are certain conditions wherein we don't want to print it into the new line, we just want everything to be printed in the same line. So for that, we'll use this AND keyword. AND equals to this space. So it will give a space after my name. So for example, if I use this particular thing, AND equals to space, so now it will print it into the same line, giving a space. So this is how print function works. After print function, we have input function. So whatever inputs, user defined input, if you want to take, you can take by using this input function. Input function by default in Python 3 is considered as string. So if you want to take your input as integer, so you have to define it as integer in front of it. After input we have range function. So for example, if you just write range 0 to 6, it will have its value 0 1 2 3 4 5, and we generally use this range function in the loops. After range functions we have one basic function, that is help. So any function that you are not getting, or if you are not able to understand, you can take this help as a function that will help you out in order to know more about that particular function. After help we have some identifiers. We have already seen what are variables, so this is also called identifiers. And we have indentation. Indentation, that means whenever we want to have any conditions or anything, we have to define proper space for that. So a proper space should be defined, so that Python will understand that okay, this if conditions have to go through this two lines, otherwise Python will not able to understand. In other languages like C++, we have curly braces, which decides the area of the indentation or area of that particular block. But since in Python we don't use semicolons, we don't use curly braces, so that is why this indentation is very important in the Python. And the last line is multi-line statements. So suppose if I have these three things, so in general whenever we want to add these three things, we add in one line. Python takes it in one line. But if I don't want to add it in one line, suppose if I have any conditions in which I want to write laptop here and then mouse here and earphone here, so after every line we need to tell Python that no, our line is not ended, we have to keep on taking things below. So for that you have to write plus and slash, so that Python knows that your line is still there. So this is called multi-line statements. And we have again the comments. So these are some basic things that you have to be aware of before going into the strings, or before going to anything for that matter inside the Python. And in the end we have this Python. So suppose if you want to know the Python version, you can use this particular method to know your Python version. So that's all about the basic functions that we have in Python. Now let us quickly jump into the strings. Actually we can perform various things in a string, but let us start by slicing of the string. So what does this exactly slicing of the string means? We'll try to understand this concept with the help of example. For example, if I take my name as a string, so if I'll consider my name as a string, we can see my name will be indexed in such a manner. Suppose my name is this, and if I just want to see the index of my name, it will be more or less like this: EPHINAWJAGDAB. And if I just want to know what is index of A, the index of A would be 0, B would be 1, H would be 2, and so on. Nine. After 9 we have G as 10. G will be considered as 10. T will be considered as 11. A will be considered as 12, and last E will be considered as 30. This would be 11. This would be 12. I'm just writing this all so that you could understand the minute details of how string functions. Okay, so this is what we have in front of us, this particular string that we have, wherein A starting from 0 till 13. Suppose if I'll write X zeroth element, it will print what? A. This is the zeroth element, it will print A. So after this we can see this slice. This is what we have done, is the slicing of the string. So now our string will start from 2, it will go up to 5. That means it will take elements which are less than 5. So that means it will take element as 2, 3 and 4. It will take the second element, third element and the fourth element. What is the second element? H, I and A. So it will print H, I and A, 2 to 5. After this, if we see this particular string, it goes from 2 to last point. So we don't know what is the last point. So if we don't know the number where exactly our string is ending, so we'll just keep it blank. So it will start from the second point. Second point is H. So it will start from H and it will take till the last point. Similarly, if we don't know what is the starting point, we'll just write 5 here. So whatever is starting point, we don't know. It will start from the start and it will end at the 5th point. So the 5th point we have is A. But since we know it is the upper boundary, that means it takes less than 5. So it will print, we don't know what is the starting point, so it will take 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Similarly, what it took here, 2, 3, 4, less than 5. Similarly, it will also take 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will not include 5, right? So we'll have the output till n. After this is complete slicing object. That means whatever is starting point, just take it, and whatever is the ending point, just take it. I don't know the starting point, I don't know the ending point, whatever they are, you just take the complete string. So this is what we call as slicing of the string. So after slicing of the string, the next thing that we have is the updation of the string. So for example, this is my name and I don't want to have my complete surname. I just want to take J as my new string. So what I'll do, I'll take this first few spaces till here. So that is what I have done. I've took first few space, and after that I'll just replace this complete surname with just J. I'll just replace this complete surname with just J, and this is what we call as updation of the string. So this is how we update a string. After updation, we have operators. So we have already seen how operator works in Python. Now suppose this is the one output of my name, but if we just multiply this particular thing by 2, so it will just replicate, just give it 2 times, as simple as that. So whatever operators that we are doing, that directly get effective, it have a direct effect on our name, or whatever string that you have, it directly give an effect on that. After operators, we have in and not in functions, and they're very useful. So we can call them as operators, in and not in operators. So if I just want to check whether my particular string contains certain things or not, then we generally use in and not in operators. For example, I just want to check whether my name contains I or not. We can very easily see yes, my name contains I. That is why the output will be true. Z, my name does not contain Z, or this ABC does not contain Z. That is true. But if I'll just write Z here, it will say false. Why? Because it contains Z, right? So in and not in operator, they are very useful. Now the next operators are, or the next functions that we have, are built-in methods that are used in a string, and they are very useful. So please pay attention to them, and hopefully these are going to be your most important things in the future programming that you are going to do in the Python. So the first built-in function is the capitalize. So whatever your string is, it will capitalize the first word of it. For example, it will capitalize the first word of it, and all other words it will take it as a small letter. So in my name it has capitalized the first letter, and all other string or the element of the string it took it as small letters. After capitalize, we can use the length function. Length function is very useful in order to know the length of your particular string. So if you want to gauge the length of this particular string, we'll use the length function, which is represented by len. After this, we have count function. So for example, if I just want to count how many times a came into my name, so that gives the total count of, so 4 times a came in my name, so it gives the count of that particular string that we have. After count functions, we have ends with function. So if I just want to know whether this particular string do end with any particular thing or not, so if it is very useful, this particular function is very useful whenever you want to go for certain prefix or suffix type of problem. So if I want to know whether some string contains ing or not, ed or not, so this kind of functions are very useful in that particular scenario. So it gives true or false as output. After that, I just want to find certain things inside the string. So for example, here we are trying to find bz. So in my name there is no z that it contains, that is why the output is -1. But suppose if it does find certain things which are present in that particular string, so b is present in my name, so it must give output as 1. So this find function is useful in order to find certain elements in a string. After that, we have this join function. So this join function does what is, suppose if I have one string, for example I have my name, and I want to insert this particular symbol after every element of my string. So what I'll do, I'll just define another string as dash, and I'll just say s join x. That means it will include s inside each element of x. So it has included this particular dash inside each element of my name. After that, we have 3 very major functions of this particular string, that are ljust, rjust and center. So that means if I'll just provide space for 20 say 20 digits, or say 20 spaces if I provide, so this complete space is of 20. I don't know what is the length of my string. So for example, this is my name, I don't know what is the length of my string, but if I'll just give you 20 spaces, so it will just redirect my name to the left side, that is ljust. Similarly, rjust, it will just redirect my name to the r side, and others it will fill with stars. If I'll just keep it as space, so it will just fill all the other blanks with a space, that's it. Other blanks it will just fill it with a space. Similarly, if I just want to have it in the center, it will just keep my name in the center, and it will fill other gaps according to your given integer. Other gaps it will fill with stars or whatever symbols that you are giving. After that, we have the strip functions. Very useful, very useful, especially when you are dealing with certain kind of data, because not data never comes with very accurate space and everything, because whenever user is feeding any data, they'll always do certain mistakes of having an extra space or a space less or something of that kind. So in that particular thing, strip is very useful. For example, someone has here you can see someone has put Delhi within a space, so they have given a space, and after that they have written Delhi. So I'll just strip it, and it will remove the space ahead of Delhi. Similarly, in B it will also remove the space after Delhi. So trailing space or as well as leading space. It removes both the spaces, so that is why strip is very useful function. And after that we have make trans. Make trans, that means if I just want to use certain things instead of certain other things, if I just want to transform certain things with the same amount of certain other things. For example, if I just want to replace this a, e, I, o, u with 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 in my name. In my name, I just want to replace wherever I find a, e, I, o, u with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I can do, I can make use of make trans function. So first of all, I'll just convert this particular string, and I'll just say that I'm going to make trans of using x, that is the string that I have right now. I want to transform it with y, the string that I want to use in future. I'll print my string dot translate. What translate? This particular function that we have, this particular thing that we have created earlier. These are dictionaries that it is creating. Don't worry, don't get confused here. This is how this make trans function works. The moment you will print this particular translation, it will convert a with 1, I with 3. You can see a, e, I, o, u with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is converting it. So this is also very interesting function. After that we have split. That means whatever string that I have, please split it into different strings, and keep that particular string in a list. This is very useful, especially when you do take input in different formats. So hi, my name is Abhinav. So it just divided the complete string into different strings, and it just kept this all things inside one complete list. So these are most essential and the powerful functions that we generally use, especially for the strings, and they are going to be really helpful for you and whatever things that you want to do. So for downloading this particular Jupyter file, if you want to download this particular Jupyter file, please go down below the link, and you'll get a download link for this particular Jupyter file. Just download it, just run it from your end. You'll see how this function works, and try just play with these functions, and you'll be able to learn a lot from these functions. So that's it for this particular video. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.